Hello, everyone. It's Friday. That means it's Chat with Mac. We are glad to have you. For those of you that are uh, constantly supporting us and watching our show, we absolutely appreciate you and your feedback. Excuse me. And for those of you that are new to what we do, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today was the end of the week, and we are in April.
Yeah, I just realized you said, we thank people who are watching our show or something like that. I didn't know we
Uh,
had a show.
Might as well be.
but uh, but yeah, I guess it's a show. I mean, we've been doing it pretty regularly, routinely.
Yep.
It's been over a year, hasn't it?
It's been over a year. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been over a
Wow,
year.
time
and and
flies.
and time flies, and for the longest time I didn't know if anybody was watching, but people were watching, so hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Not only are people watching, but they're reaching out. They're asking questions. So out of everybody who watches, even if we can uh, make one user a little more educated about what's happening, things to do when certain things happen, and if we can save one person, then it's worth it,
It's
right?
worth it. It's
um,
absolutely
and,
worth it.
and that's the whole purpose of this, is to educate users, um, whether they are decision makers, owners, whatever have you, or individual users. I mean, a lot of people who watch this are just individual users.
Yeah.
uh, they work in an office somewhere, and it could be IT admins. And what's amazing is even some IT admins have reached out with questions and that they didn't know certain things. And so that's always good to know,
That's
that
definitely
we
good
are
to know.
giving some value, to everybody out there. So what we're going to talk about today, Matt?
So here's something that I found interesting. I remember I was talking to a prospective client, and they were talking about, no names, but they were talking about their current MSP and how their MSP ended up getting infiltrated or hacked. And I remember thinking to myself, like, holy crap. So how does that happen? Your MSP get hacked. And how does that work, that you're trying to protect other people, but you can't protect yourself? So, you put me onto this thing called Mitre. I think I'm saying that correctly, where it helps MSPs, or I think it's MSPs, um, um, give them the understanding of whether or not they're able to protect their clients from eventual, attacks. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, because that's it's a very interesting thing, uh, especially in the climate that we're in now.
Yeah, so it's not just so let me give everybody a little perspective. So this was an MSP. I think it was in Houston, an MSP that got
Yep.
hacked, and
Yep.
they had a bunch of customers that they got impacted,
Yep.
and the MSP was doing a lot of things under the sun. They were providing hosting services for customers and all kinds of stuff, and of course they were hosting accounting software for some of their customers, and accounting software going down is never a good place to be in, because I mean, payroll, everything gets impacted. So that's what it started. Now, the thing about Mitre is not so much to do with MSPs per se, but more to do with security in general.
Mm.
So what Mitre does is they do, it's a third party, so they do evaluations for security software. Now, this is antivirus, anti-malware, remediation, all kinds of things, and they try to come up with a way to show and compare different products, different security products, right? There could be products, there could be services, whatever have you. And that's, one of the things that came out, before Mitre releases its evaluation report. Of course, all the security vendors out there, now when I say security vendors, these are companies that develop the engines, like the anti-malware engines themselves. They're always looking for this. I mean, they want to be high on this report, right? Because this is pretty much the standard in security. This is the only way we have to kind of measure whose security product is better than the other products.
Yeah.
So what was interesting was, when this report came out, you always want to look at the top 5 vendors in there, right? Because those are the best, the cream of the crop. Everybody else is way down there. So when this report came out, what was interesting, what got my attention specifically is Signet, because Signet uses Signet is what we use for our engine, for our detection engine. So it's our detection and prevention engine. So if Signet scores well, that means our service is that much better, because that's the engine we're using. And so we use that Signet engine, and then on top of that, we bundle in our security operations center, which is a team of humans that will jump in and do the remediation. And then on top of that, we add our SIEM service. So basically, when certain events happen, so it's an event monitoring service. So when certain events happen, we take action. We alert somebody, or when something happens, we for example, maybe disconnect a machine from the network. So for example, if a workstation is detecting a lot of invalid login attempts, we disconnect that workstation from the network. I mean, that's the right thing to do. So we add on top of the Signet engine, and I want to share this report that came out of Signet and just dig a little bit into that. Let me see if I can share this. Okay, so hopefully you can see that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so now this is just talking a little bit about how Mitre tests different vendors for this evaluation, right? So this is the 2022 Mitre attack eval. So there were a total of 30 vendors in here. And they score everybody on the same scale, so we can kind of compare and test the results against each other. So these are all the different vendors that Mitre evaluated. So I mean, yeah, Sentinel one, that's a good provider out there. Cyber Reason is pretty good as well. Palo Alto's, that's a well-known name out there. Then we have Signet, that's the engine that we're using. CrowdStrike, I know a lot of larger enterprises use CrowdStrike, so that's one as well, and the Microsoft and everybody else in there. So the main thing that we're looking at is, how did our engine, the engine that we use, how did that do in this eval? And and these are some of the big points, and I want to highlight them. How well we did. So Signet achieved 100% visibility and detection across all 19 attack steps evaluated, right? So 100% visibility and detection, 100% protection rate across all 9 tests, and it was rated as the number 3 vendor that prevented attacks in the speed and prevention overall. So detecting and preventing something is one thing, but how quickly you do that is something totally different. And you want to be fast about this. If something is detected, we want to know about it immediately, instantly, and take preventative action. So it was the number 3 vendor on that. So these are just some of the things. Now, Signet detected 98.5% of techniques presented. Now, the way Mitre does these tests, they have about 66 different techniques they use to break into networks or breach entities, and Signet detected 98.5% of them.
Wow.
Amazing results. So that was just outstanding. And then we have some details over here about the steps that then. if I was going to look at something at a glance, this is what I would look at. And we've got SIGNET kind of highlighted in here. So overall detection for 2022, number 3, SIGNET. Overall prevention, number 3, SIGNET. Sentinel-1 and CyberRoam are 1 and 2, and they're kind of, in the overall prevention, Sentinel-1 is number 1, and Palo Alto is number 2. So those vendors are kind of changing place. You'll notice, like CyberReason, down in the overall prevention, CyberReason jumps down to like 6th place, right? But SIGNET is consistently in detection, both detection and prevention, consistently at number 3. And that consistency is what's going to pay off when it comes to security. Speed of protection, again, SIGNET is at number 3. So this is a great place to be in for an engine for security. And in this overall detection and protection result scatter chart, SIGNET is, you want to be the top rightmost company in here, and SIGNET is pretty much in the top right quadrant there. So very good place to be in. Now, what's interesting here, about this scatter chart is look at some of the other providers. Look at Microsoft is way down here. CrowdStrike is down here. Now, Cisco, way down. I mean, look at that. FireEye, I mean, in security world, a well-known name, way down. You might have heard of Sophos, ESET.
I was looking at Sophos. I was actually surprised about that.
Yeah. I mean,
I was actually really surprised about that, huh?
and Symantec. I mean, everybody knows Symantec. Look at that.
Yep.
They're way down here. So what does this tell us? To me, it tells me that the landscape is changing. The traditional products are not able to keep up. You need some newer engines, some newer technologies to be able to detect and protect customer networks. So that's what SIGNET is, and I'm just happy that we chose SIGNET for our engine, for our service, and it's doing great. Some of the other ones over here, Bitdefender. I know a lot of people know about Bitdefender. Protection is almost 0. I mean, protection is like 0%. Not almost. It is 0% for Bitdefender. Just an eye-opening scatter chart that kind of tells me that the landscape is changing very rapidly. Malwarebytes, Trend Micro, McAfee, Fortinet, Checkpoint, all of these are just right here. Not doing very good on the protection chart, on the protection side of things. So that's what Mitre does, is they do these evaluations, and it always, the security companies kind of fight each other to get as top as it can, because this is what's going to set the pace for the entire year. Yeah. This is going to be 2022. Go ahead.
Forgive me, but I got a question about this. This is a third party that's doing this, so they don't have any skin in the game as far
as third party. They're not owned by any security company. They're not. It's a totally independent third party. And you can Google Mitre if you're interested. For that. And I'll put the link in the when during editing, I'll put the link down here in the video, so you can go to this link and read the results yourself. I mean, this is public information, or Google it. It's all there. So now that's one thing. The other thing is our experience. So over the last I think a month, I want to say a few months, but over the last month, we have deployed our service, and this is a service that we came out of stealth fairly recently. So over the last month, we've deployed it to over 408. I think it's like 487 or something like that number. So we've deployed it to about 487 nodes out there, and out of that, we've detected 4 malicious scripts running on machines. Now, the threat was low because it was an automated process that was running PowerShell trying to download a script from Dropbox to run uh, digital currency mining on these machines. But that script was already removed by Dropbox. They had detected a lot of traffic, so they had already removed it. So there was no harm. And like we talked last time, our intrusion prevention system was already blocking that URL for the file to be, so the file cannot be downloaded. However, what's interesting is that nothing else caught this. Nothing else even knew this was in place. There was no indications that something like this was in place. It wasn't until we deployed the CyberX service, and that's when we got those alerts, and we got very accurate information. I mean, we got the actual command line that the script was running to launch and download the file, and this was a PL file. It gave us the full name of the file, the path of the file, the URL. We had a lot of information about this, and this was a known file that has been going around infecting machines, basically using your resources to mine digital currency for the bad guys.
And I knew because I love digital currency, but I knew for a while that was going on, but for whatever reason, I thought that they had that was stopped just by regular security, whatever. But it looks like now, they got figured out a way around that.
Yeah. So by itself, the thing is, by itself, the script is not bad, right? I mean, somebody could be running this to mine their own digital currency. I mean, we don't want to block that if somebody's running that on their personal machine.
But
for all intents, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
The thing that we caught was that it was being run automatically without the user authorizing it, and that's what was suspicious. That's what triggered it. That's what caused it to block this script, send an alert. SOC got involved. We figured out the path and everything, and at the end of the day, we saved these machines a lot of resources. And if the script had been running on there, they would have been using a lot of CPU, a lot of GPU, and all this cost would have been making, basically transferring from the user, the owner of the machine, to the bad guys. That's really what was going to happen here. So I'm glad that we deployed it. I mean, we've been kind of testing this for over a year, and we were in stealth mode, and when we launched this, I think there was only one customer that had that didn't want to go with this service, and at the end of the day, it's and I'll say this, I mean, at the end of the day, do we really want a customer that has a problem with what tool we use to fix their stuff? It's like, you bring your vehicle to a mechanic, and the mechanic uses Snap-on tools instead of Craftsman tools. Do you really care?
Not really. No, I do not. Don't care.
But I'm glad we did this, because it has really given us some insight into things that we didn't know, and customers didn't know. That's the main thing. I mean, we have some large customers that are running this service. Just earlier today, I wasn't going to talk about it, but this is the 6th and the 7th machines, so 2 more that happened today. Not the script, that was a separate deal. So this was users, and this is a larger enterprise, users going to a certain site in Chrome, and that site downloading malicious JavaScript to their machines.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so it was in the cache, right? So it was in the cache of the local browser, and we have the exact path, the name of the file, everything. I mean, so we know where it came from. We know what the user was doing. I mean, it was instantaneous. I mean, the user was just there, and boom, it flagged it, and the SOC immediately knew what happened. They reached out, cleared it up, and everything was good. And of course, recommended that the users go through some training. but but the thing is, the product works extremely well. It's that instantaneous detection and protection. That's what
Yeah.
we're after.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a great day in that sense.
It's a good, yeah, and I think, yeah, we scream this, and sometimes it's frustrating because the attitude of a lot of small business owners is so laissez-faire as far as security is concerned, and for or rather unfortunate that somebody would question, the fact that you're using something that's going to better protect them. But these are the things that and this may be biased. I just feel like it sets us apart from so many is that we're constantly looking for a way to be proactive. I remember when my first week here, I remember Nadeem say we try to be proactive, not reactive. And I remember hearing that like, well, that's an interesting take because most people, most IT companies, well, it wasn't really IT back then, but now MSP, it's like they sit around and they wait for something to happen. And I love the fact that we're not sitting around and waiting. We're actively moving and thinking 3 to 4 steps ahead. And now in this landscape, in this current environment that we're in with the number of attacks, I don't see how you can't be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the guy. You just have to.
If you are being reactive, you are caught in that downward spiral of death.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm going to give you some numbers. Because a lot of MSPs are caught in this downward spiral of death, their net profits are much lower than MSPs that are doing preventative stuff, right?
Right.
That are proactively doing things, implementing standards across the board, to standardize everything to reduce those reactive tickets. Having 500 tickets a day is nothing to be proud of. Having 5 or 0 tickets in a day is something to be proud of. Of course, that is not realistic. You're always going to have some tickets, but on average, like a few months ago, we were averaging about, I think, 3.2 tickets per day per tech. Now, I think we are around 3.7, somewhere in there, if I remember correctly. But typically in this industry, MSPs are running at least 10 tickets per tech per day, and in my mind, that's high. You need to be 5 or lower. If you're 5 or higher, you're caught in that downward spiral. You're not doing something right.
And to Nadine's point, I don't know. This hit my mind. It's not the fact that we're not servicing some companies that don't have a bunch of people. Quite honestly, we are. We have a very sizable client list that have very sizable client employees and users. It's just the processes that we have in place enables us to not have to have our customers wait for God knows how long for a ticket to be answered. I witnessed this, and I'm on the other side of it, but I witnessed it, and I'm in awe. Like, holy crap! It's not the norm. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but what Mac means by he's on the other side. Mac is not a tech person, right? He does not work to resolve customer issues.
Nope.
And that's why he says he's on the other side. But it's it's one of those things. If you're we wouldn't be in business if we weren't doing things right. We wouldn't be in business for over 20 years.
That's correct.
Has it been 20?
Correct.
We started in 97, so it's
97.
Been 25.
It's close to
somewhere
25.
In there. So the thing is, over the course of this time, you will either develop some good processes, or you won't be there anymore.
Yeah.
There's only, not much else. If you weren't doing things right, you won't be in business for over 20 years. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
And
uh,
again, it's that forward thinking. I mean, you got a lot of MSPs, and my job on the other side is to talk to customers and find out where they are. And quite a few of them are still with these guys that are just break fix with a little bit of other stuff in the middle, And I just look at them like, whoo, good luck, because the time of just being able to, fix a printer,
yeah,
reboot a computer, those days are dead and gone. Like they are dead and gone. It's different, and this is within the last 3 years. That's how fast it's morphed to where
right.
you have to be up here. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I want to leave everybody with, be thinking about this is, even if you have your own IT department, or even if you are an IT admin, you're running an IT department, always have dedicated roles and always do things proactively. The only way you can do things proactively, and prove me wrong, nobody's proven me wrong yet, but prove me wrong if you can. The only way to do things proactively is the most important roles. So out of the 5 roles, the most important 2 roles: the technology alignment manager
Yep.
and the CIO.
Yep.
Without these 2 roles, you cannot be proactive. If you have a role of a tech or an engineer or a support engineer or a support tech, whatever you want to call it, you're stuck in that downward spiral. You're never going to get out of it. It's like a vehicle stuck in the mud. You're going back and forth. You're never going to get out.
But those wheels are spinning.
They are, yeah. So everybody, think about that, and hopefully everybody has a great day. I've got to get out of here. It's my wife's birthday, so.
Oh, happy birthday, Kathy! Yeah, you definitely have to. Yeah, you definitely have to get out of here.
So I gotta get out of here a little early today. But if you guys have any questions out there regarding the Mitre evaluation, and or just security in general, feel free to reach out. We're happy to have a conversation with people, and that's what we like to do, is just talk about stuff. I'm a techie at heart, so I love talking tech. But Mac over here, he's not a tech at all, but he loves to do some tech stuff. Like he likes to do some mining and stuff.
I love crypto. I am a computer geek to some extent. I almost regret not switching over to IT, because there's a deep interest for it, but it's past my pay grade. That being said, I do love all things technology. I mean, I'm a nerd at heart. I love the stuff. Love it.
So everybody, have a great day. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next week. And if you have some topics of interest, shoot Mac an email.
Please.
Have a
Thanks,
good one,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.